My girlfriend posted on Instagram, "I'm not anyone's property. A woman has rights." She did it minutes after I caught her texting her ex behind my back. I just smiled. But when she came back to log in later, what she saw waiting for her changed everything. It all blew up over a bowl of leftover chili. I know how that sounds, but it's the truth. 3 days ago, I was sitting on the couch, eating dinner and scrolling through my phone while my girlfriend Chloe was in the other room on one of her endless work calls. We've been together for 5 years, living in my house for 3. I'm 38 and I own a small web development company. Chloe, who is 32, is a full-time lifestyle blogger and influencer, a career I single-handedly built for her from the ground up. Her laptop was on the coffee table, open to her messages. We had an open device policy, or so I thought. A new message popped up on the screen, and the name made my stomach clench. Derek. Her ex, the one she swore was a toxic memory she'd blocked everywhere. The message read, "Last night was amazing, can't stop thinking about you." My blood went cold. I clicked on their chat history. It went back months. Secret meetups, flirty texts, pictures I never saw. All the late-night yoga classes and weekend brunches with the girls suddenly made a sickening kind of sense. They had met up the night before, while I was working late to finish a project that would pay for our upcoming vacation. I didn't say anything. I just sat there, the chili turning to ash in my mouth, as the last 5 years of my life replayed in my head with a new, ugly filter. I thought about the thousands of hours I'd poured into her brand. When we met, she was working as a receptionist with a vague dream of being a blogger. I bought the domain name for her website. I designed and coded the entire site myself, spending countless nights optimizing it for search engines. I taught her about analytics, affiliate marketing, and brand integration. I set up her business entity, with both of us as co-directors of the company that technically owned her blog and brand assets, a detail I insisted on for tax purposes. I was the silent, unpaid tech wizard behind her glamorous online life. I did it because I loved her, and I believed in her. Or maybe I just believed in the person I thought she was. She walked back into the room, phone pressed to her ear, laughing. "Okay, talk soon, bye," she chirped before hanging up. She flopped onto the couch next to me, kicking her feet up onto the table. Ugh, brand calls are the worst, so needy. I turned the laptop screen towards her. Her smile vanished. For a second I saw pure, unadulterated panic in her eyes, but it was gone in a flash, replaced by a look of defiance. "What? You're going through my private messages now?" she snapped, snatching the laptop away. "That's a complete violation of my privacy." I kept my voice level, dangerously calm. It said, "Last night was amazing. You were with him last night, Chloe, while I was working." She scoffed, standing up and crossing her arms. "Oh, please. Derek and I are just friends. You're being insecure and controlling." "Friends?" I asked, the word tasting like poison. "Friends who say they can't stop thinking about you? Friends you've been secretly meeting for months?" "I'm not going to be interrogated in my own home," she said, her voice rising. "I have a right to have friends. I'm not your property, Alex. A woman has rights." She grabbed her phone and stormed out of the room. I just sat there, listening to her footsteps stomp up the stairs. The sheer audacity of it, to be caught red-handed and immediately pivot to making me the villain, was breathtaking. She wasn't sorry. She was angry that she got caught. A few minutes later, my phone buzzed with a notification. It was from Instagram. Chloe had just posted a new picture of herself, a selfie looking thoughtfully out a window with a long caption. The caption began, "Just a reminder that you are not anyone's property. You have the right to your own life, your own friends, and your own privacy. Never let a man's insecurity dim your light or control who you are. A woman has rights." And there it was. The public narrative was being set. I was the controlling, insecure boyfriend. She was the empowered woman, fighting for her freedom. Her followers, the 150,000 people who had no idea I was the architect of the entire platform they were reading, were eating it up. The comments were already flooding in. "You go, girl. So true, queen. Dump his toxic self." I looked at the post, then at the incriminating messages still burned into my memory. And I smiled. It wasn't a happy smile. It was the kind of smile you get when you've been dealt a terrible hand, but you suddenly see the one move on the board that will win you the entire game. She thought her power was in her followers, in her public image. She had forgotten that I was the one who built the stage she was performing on. I built the lights, I controlled the sound, and I still had the master key to the entire theater. She wanted to talk about rights. Fine. Let's talk about them. I spent the rest of the evening in my home office. First, I separated our finances. I moved the majority of the money from our joint savings account, the money from my business, my inheritance, into a new account under my name only. I left her with the portion she had contributed, which was laughably small. I logged into our credit card accounts and removed her as an authorized user. The financial umbilical cord was cut. Then, I got to work on her empire, her digital life. I started with the website. I had full administrative access, of course. I changed the password. Then I went into the back end and began methodically unpublishing every single blog post she had ever written. 5 years of content, gone from public view in about 20 minutes. I replaced her beautifully designed homepage with a stark white screen and a single line of text in plain black font. This site is currently under new management. Please check back soon for updates. Next, her social media accounts. The passwords were all saved in my password manager. I logged into her Instagram, her Facebook, her Pinterest. I changed the passwords and the recovery emails for all of them, switching them from her address to a new one I created just for this purpose. I didn't delete her posts, not yet. I just archived them, hiding them from public view. Her vibrant, curated profiles were now blank slates. Finally, I dealt with the business itself, the company we were co-directors of. I drafted a formal letter, using a legal template, notifying her of an emergency board meeting to discuss the immediate dissolution of our partnership due to a breach of contract. Specifically, her actions that had brought the brand into disrepute. It was a bit of a stretch, legally, but it was enough to put her on notice. By 3 a.m., Chloe's entire online presence, the source of her income and her identity, was under my complete control. She was still upstairs, probably sleeping soundly, dreaming of her empowered new life with Derek. She had no idea that she was about to wake up digitally homeless. She thought she was a queen in her castle. She was about to find out it was a sand castle, and the tide was coming in. Update 1. 24 hours later. The silence this morning was heavier than usual. Thank you for the flood of comments and support. It's validating to know that I'm not the one who's lost his mind. Chloe came downstairs around 9 a.m., dressed in yoga pants and a crop top, ready to start her day of creating content. She didn't say a word to me, just went straight to the coffee machine with an air of smug defiance. She grabbed her laptop from the living room and sat at the kitchen island, ready to engage with her adoring fans. I just sat at the table, sipping my coffee, and waited. I watched her type in her Instagram password. Frown. Type it again. Her brow furrowed in confusion. She tried her Facebook password. Same result. A flicker of annoyance crossed her face. She muttered something about her phone being glitchy and tried to log into her website's admin panel. That's when the first crack appeared in her composure. She stared at the stark white screen with its single line of text. What is this? What happened to my site? I didn't look up from my coffee. Looks like it's under new management. Her head snapped towards me, her eyes wide with a mixture of confusion and dawning horror. What did you do? I protected my assets, I said calmly. The ones I built. She scrambled to her phone, her fingers flying across the screen. I can't log in, she said, her voice starting to tremble. I can't log into anything. My Instagram, it's blank. All my pictures are gone. The panic was setting in now. This was real. This wasn't a glitch. You can't do this, she shrieked, standing up so fast her chair scraped loudly against the floor. That's my career. That's my life. You can't just take it. Our career, I corrected her. We are co-directors of the company that owns those assets, and as the lead technical director, I've made the decision to put the brand on hiatus pending a partnership review. You should have received an email about the emergency board meeting. The color drained from her face. She finally understood. The business registration, the co-directorship, the things she dismissed as boring paperwork, were now her cage. This is because of Derek, isn't it? She spat, her fear turning to rage. You're doing this to punish me. This is illegal. I'll sue you. Go ahead, I said, taking another sip of coffee. I'm sure your lawyer will be very interested to see the chat logs with Derek, especially the parts where you discuss meeting up while I was funding your lifestyle. It's a classic breach of fiduciary duty to the company. She just stared at me, speechless. The empowered woman from Instagram was gone, replaced by a cornered animal. She grabbed her car keys and stormed out of the house, slamming the door behind her. The rest of the day was a cascade of consequences. Around noon, I started getting emails from the brands she had partnerships with. They were forwarded to me because I was the primary contact on all the business contracts. They were confused. Her social media was blank. Her website was down. What was going on? I replied to each one with a polite, professional message. Due to unforeseen circumstances, the Chloe's Chic Life brand is undergoing a major restructuring. We will be in touch shortly regarding the future of our partnership. We apologize for any inconvenience. Then, the calls started. First, from her friends, demanding to know what I'd done. I told them all the same thing. Chloe and I are dealing with a private business matter. I suggest you stay out of it. Then came her mother. She launched into a tirade about how I was a monster, how I was trying to destroy her daughter. I didn't do anything, I told her, my voice flat. Chloe made a series of choices. She's just now starting to experience the consequences. You should ask her about Derek. I hung up before she could respond. Chloe, it seems, had run straight to Derek's apartment. I know this because around 3 p.m., I got a call from an unknown number. It was him. Dude, you need to back off, he said, trying to sound tough. You can't just steal her stuff. Give her back her accounts. Stay out of this, Derek, I said. This is between me and my business partner. She's not your partner, she's your girlfriend. You're just being a psycho ex. Actually, I said, enjoying this far too much, if you check the state business registry, you'll find we are, in fact, legal partners in an LLC. An LLC that you have been actively helping her sabotage. My lawyer has your name, by the way. He calls it tortious interference. You might want to look that up. He hung up. I imagine that was the end of his heroic rescue mission. The reality of getting dragged into a legal battle probably wasn't part of his romantic fantasy. I spent the rest of the day packing her things. Not in trash bags. I was better than that. I bought boxes, packing tape, a marker. I carefully folded her clothes, wrapped her knickknacks in paper, and labeled each box. It felt methodical, final, cleansing. She came back around 8 p.m., not defiant this time. She looked broken. Her eyes were red and puffy. She didn't yell. Please give them back, Alex, she whispered. That's all I have. No, it wasn't, I said, not unkindly. You had me. You had this home. You had a partner who would have done anything for you. You threw all that away for him. The blog, the followers, that was just the stuff I built for you. It was never yours to begin with. I pointed to the stack of boxes by the door. Your personal belongings are all packed. I'll help you load them into your car. She just stood there, tears streaming down her face, finally understanding the full scope of what she had lost. She didn't just lose her login. She lost her entire world. Update 2. 1 week later. It's been a week since the digital demolition. The quiet in the house is still something I'm getting used to. Thanks again for the overwhelming support. Reading your comments has been a strange source of strength through all this. Chloe's departure was a pathetic affair. She called her father to come and help her move her things. He arrived looking like he wanted to physically fight me, but he restrained himself. He just glared at me the entire time, huffing and puffing as he carried boxes, while Chloe sobbed in her car. He tried to start an argument once, saying I was being vindictive. I'm just a guy who discovered his girlfriend of 5 years was cheating on him, I told him, my voice calm. The rest is just business. You, of all people, should understand that. He didn't have a comeback for that. The days that followed were a masterclass in watching someone try to fight a tidal wave with a bucket. Chloe's first move was to try and create new social media accounts. The real Chloe? Chloe Unfiltered. She posted a long, tearful video about how her toxic ex had stolen her life's work and was trying to silence her. It didn't work. For one, her audience was fractured. She had no way to reach her old followers. But more importantly, I had the truth. I didn't engage publicly. I didn't have to. I sent a single concise email to a handful of the largest brand managers she had worked with. It contained a few key screenshots of her texts with Derek, with the dates and times clearly visible. I simply wrote, "This is the breach of conduct I mentioned. This is why the brand is being restructured. I trust you will handle this information with discretion." The industry is smaller than you think. Within 48 hours, her new, pathetic attempt at a comeback was dead in the water. No brand would touch her. The story of her infidelity, tied directly to her unprofessionalism, spread like wildfire through the back channels of the influencer marketing world. Her smear campaign against me was DOA because the people with the money knew the real story. Her next tactic was to try and get legal. I received a letter from a lawyer she hired, demanding I immediately return all digital assets and cease and desist from using her name and likeness. My lawyer responded the next day with a single package. It contained a copy of our LLC operating agreement, with both our signatures clear as day. It also contained a formal notice of my intent to file a lawsuit against her for breach of fiduciary duty, misappropriation of company funds for the secret trips to meet Derek, and damages to the brand's reputation. The letter concluded by stating that if she wished to proceed, we would see her in court, where the full extent of her affair would become a matter of public record during discovery. Her lawyer called my lawyer 2 days later to say they would not be proceeding. She couldn't afford a legal battle, and more importantly, she couldn't risk the public humiliation of having her dirty laundry aired in a courtroom. The ex, Derek, has vanished. I heard through a mutual acquaintance that as soon as he got that call from me and realized there were potential legal and financial consequences, he wanted nothing to do with it. He blocked Chloe on everything. He wasn't interested in the real, messy Chloe who had lost everything. He was only interested in the fantasy of the successful, glamorous influencer. When the glamour was gone, so was he. The most satisfying part of this whole week has been the rebranding. I reactivated the website and all the social media accounts, but they look very different now. I took down the temporary under new management page. The website is now the official portfolio for my web development company. I've posted case studies of my work, including a detailed, anonymous breakdown of how I grew a lifestyle blog from 0 to 150,000 followers in 3 years, showcasing my SEO, branding, and social media strategy skills. The Instagram account is now my company's professional account. I archived all but a few of her most generic, aesthetically pleasing photos, landscapes, flat lays of coffee cups, etc., and started posting about web design, digital marketing tips, and tech news. I changed the bio to founder and lead developer. I build brands. The irony is almost too perfect. Her platform, built on a foundation of lies, has now become a testament to my actual, tangible skills. And the best part? It's working. I've gained over 1,000 new followers this week, all people in the tech and marketing industries. I've had 3 serious inquiries for new projects, one of them a major company, all because they were impressed with the brand transformation. Chloe must be watching this. She must see her face and her work being erased and replaced by mine. She must see the follower count, which has barely dropped, now engaging with my content. She created a brand based on a fake, curated life. I've replaced it with a brand based on real, marketable skills. Her parents are still trying to intervene, calling me, leaving messages about forgiveness and second chances. I've blocked their numbers. This was never about forgiveness, it was about consequences. Chloe built her identity on a platform of my creation, and when she betrayed me, she lost the platform. It's that simple. She didn't have the right to my work, my time, or my loyalty after she chose to throw it all away. Final update. 3 months later, it's been 3 months since my life took a sharp, unexpected turn. The house is quiet, clean, and feels entirely my own. The boxes of Chloe's things were picked up by a moving company 2 months ago. I wasn't home for it. I didn't need to be. That chapter was closed. The aftermath of Chloe's digital implosion has been more comprehensive than I ever could have imagined. Her attempts to restart her career failed spectacularly. The influencer world is built on authenticity, or at least the illusion of it. Once that illusion was shattered, she had nothing left. Her name was tainted. She was the girl who cheated on the guy who built her entire career, and then lost it all overnight. It was a cautionary tale whispered in marketing circles. From what I've heard through the grapevine, her life has been a series of harsh reality checks. After Derek abandoned her, she tried to move in with one of her influencer friends, but that lasted less than a month. The friendship, it turned out, was as transactional as her brand partnerships. Without her status and access, she was just a liability. She ended up having to move back in with her parents. The last I heard, she was working as a hostess at a restaurant in her hometown. There's a brutal poetry in that. The woman who curated a life of fake luxury online is now seating people in a real-life restaurant, forced to smile and be polite for minimum wage. Her Instagram post about a woman's rights rings hollow now. She had the right to make her choices, and I had the right to not fund them or enable them. She had the right to a life without me, and now she has it. My life, on the other hand, has been an unexpected renaissance. Transforming her old blog and social media into a portfolio for my business was the single best marketing move I've ever made. The story of the rebrand, though I've never publicly confirmed the details, became a sort of legend in my local tech scene. It's brought in a wave of new clients, bigger and better than any I had before. I've had to hire 2 new developers to handle the workload. The business has doubled in revenue in the last quarter alone. I took the brand she nearly destroyed with her lies and rebuilt it into a thriving enterprise based on my truth. I did get one final, pathetic communication from her about a month ago. It was an email, sent from a new address. It was a long, rambling apology, the kind people write when they've run out of options. She said she was sorry, that she was foolish, that she missed me. She asked if I would ever consider selling the website and social media accounts back to her. She said she was a different person now. I didn't believe her. People like Chloe don't change, they just change tactics. She didn't miss me. She missed the life I provided. She missed the platform, the income, the adoration. I replied with a single sentence. The brand is not for sale. I never heard from her again. The revenge in the end wasn't about destroying her. I never leaked her messages. I never publicly shamed her. I simply reclaimed what was mine. The consequences she's facing are not my creation. They are the natural result of her own actions. She built a house of cards on my foundation, and when she tried to burn the foundation, the whole house came down. I'm dating someone new now. She's a graphic designer, and our conversations are about code and color palettes, about building things together, not just for show, but for real. The other night, we were looking at my company's Instagram, the one that used to be Chloe's. She pointed to one of the old, archived landscape photos. "That's a beautiful shot," she said. "Where was it taken?" "It was from a trip a long time ago," I said, and for the first time, there was no anger, no bitterness, just distance. The view was great, but the company wasn't. And then I archived the last of Chloe's pictures. The slate is completely clean. I'm building something new, something better, on a foundation of my own. And this time, I'm the only one with the keys.